Chairman, Mr. McLerran, in May 2010, you received a petition letter written by Alaskan Attorney Jeff Parker requesting EPA use the 404C process in a preemptive manner to stop the Pebble mine before the project had any chance for permitting. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yep. And I'm going to put a slide up here on the board, and this is the testimony of Phil North. The question is, are you aware that Mr. North provided Jeff Parker with edits to the petition letter before it was sent to EPA?
I have recently learned that.
But you did not know it then, right?
I did not.
Okay. And did you know Mr. North said that he believed his edits strengthened the strength of the petition letter. So his involvement, he felt like, did influence the final outcome. Do you agree with that?
So I would say that we received requests from literally thousands of individuals to take a look at the Bristol Bay watershed and the potential impact of large-scale mining there.
So is it, do you think as the manager of EPA then, is it appropriate that EPA employees assist the third-party group in editing a petition letter to the agency?
So I would not have authorized that or approved of that. But again, I think it's really not very relevant because we received requests from a broad range of individuals, and we didn't act on that petition. At that time, we engaged in developing a scientific review that took over 3 years and was as extensive as I've previously testified.
Were you aware at that time that Mr. North was a supporter of EPA using the preemptive process in this particular case?
So again, as I said earlier, we had employees who were supportive of taking 404C action. We had employees who felt we should wait. We had a wide range of views within the agency based on the initial reviews that our staff did. My review of the situation was that we needed more science. We needed to develop. And
you're aware of the Inspector General report and said that there was a possible misuse of position. Is that correct?
I am aware of that.
Yeah. So I think here's the question I think I have, Mr. McLerran. If you were going to present something before a judge for a determination, and you found out that the other attorney on the other side was meeting with the judge, and the judge was giving him some pointers on points that you might want to make when that case becomes before his court, would you think that would be a fair process?
Well, that's a hypothetical that's quite different than the situation I had.
Well, I don't think it is, Mr. McLerran. I think the point here is that we had people inside EPA that were going to have an influence on the process, coaching outside groups on trying to determine the outcome before the process even began. And I think if you said to this Congress committee a while ago that you think it was an open and fair process, the example I just gave to you, you wouldn't think was a fair process yet, but that's exactly what was going on, is you had people coaching within the EPA, coaching the opposition as to what to say so to get a desired outcome. Am I missing something here?
I think you are missing that we had staff who had different positions on this. I, as the decision maker, took an approach that was different than what many of those folks advocated on both sides of this. The course that we decided to take was to do good science.
So you're okay with the other, in the example I gave you, you're okay with the judge kind of coaching the prosecution on, here's how we can get the outcome that we desire here, is that you need to say these things, and in your closing arguments, you would make this statement. You think that's a fair process then?
So, as I said earlier, I think your hypothetical is not.
No, it's not hypothetical.
Same as.
I mean, it's the very same example here of your employees coaching the people that were in opposition to this to help reach a desired outcome of that employee. And I just don't think the American people think that's the kind of government that they want. So I guess the question I would have to you, given the fact that that there was a possible misuse of position that found by the Inspector General, would you reconsider and let the 404C process move forward?
Sir, we are, we have been in the 404C process, and again, I think it's been a very open, transparent, and very inclusive
I'm
process.
sorry, I misspoke there, the 404 process. In other words, letting everybody then bring that process forward and seeing if, through the NEPA process, that they just can justify it, that they would take the necessary precautions to meet any opposition to the project.
So as I previously stated, even today, the Pebble Partnership could apply for a 404 permit with the Corps of Engineers and initiate the NEPA process and that entire process. So we, and in fact, I personally believe that they would file for a 404 permit during the pendency of the watershed assessment process. They chose not to. They continue to choose not to, but we have not precluded that process.
Well, but I think you just told the chairman that you can't move forward with a 404 based on your determination. So I'm confused. How does that work? I mean, you can what you're saying to me, you can apply for it, but you're gonna get turned down. I mean, how's that a good deal?
So again, what our proposed determination put forward, and we have not completed that process, it's an incomplete process, was that we would impose restrictions on the scope and scale of mining in the watershed. So a 404 permit application could be applied for. It would go through that process. And then should we determine at the end of the day that restrictions are appropriate in the watershed, then that would be resolved either through the 404C process or through the 404.
And I want to go back to something else. Now, you keep saying that some of your employees were in favor of this process. We had one employee that evidently that the Inspector General found out the misuse, but then now you've told the chairman that you've really not investigated and don't intend to investigate whether other employees were actually acting in a position that were maybe misusing their position. Your position is because you use plural when you refer to some of the employees were supportive of blocking this project, but only one was identified here in the Inspector General report. So. But we're not going to check and see if anybody else was doing that? And you think it's inappropriate, but you're not going to check on it?
Sir, again, as I stated, the Inspector General did a very comprehensive review. We feel it was a complete review, and I also
Well, the
have been
Inspector
involved.
General isn't going to make the decision on this permit.
Sorry to say the gentleman's
McLerran.
time has expired, but I do want to clarify. A while ago, when in response to a question that I asked, you agreed that the Army Corps of Engineers could not issue a permit once you had made your determination. Are you changing your testimony on that?
So again, what I said is that the Corps of Engineers, during the pendency
In other words, Pebble can apply, but they can't be approved. It's a ruse.
So that is not exactly the case. What we have is a notice of proposed determination that would place restrictions on the scale and size.
A while ago, you told me that the Corps of Engineers could not approve a permit because of the proposed determination.
So during the pendency of a proposed determination, our rules do provide that there would not be an issuance of permit, but we haven't completed that process.
Yeah, I know. We'll come back because there are others who had the time, but I'm going to revisit that because it seems to me you've contradicted yourself.
And
The
I would
gentleman
like
from
to-
Oregon, Ms. Bonamici, is recognized.
I would like